It's Nick Short's BB Remix, and this is where I'll explore the social dynamic of Big Brother through videos and shorts. I capture live footage between the house guests before "You Are Not Allowed to Talk About Production" comes over the loudspeaker. Each week, look for brand new videos, so make sure you subscribe to my channel so you'll be the first to know when I upload a new video, and be sure to comment to say hello.
Any consensus to go after the girls. So when I came downstairs and heard like anxiety, like, oh my God, the guys upstairs, like, are they coming for us? Are they coming for us?
Right.
I could talk until I'm blue in the face and say, no, the guys ain't coming for you. But it would make more sense if you came down directly and talked to the person who, one, was vocalizing anxiety but not making a plan about it, and two, would talk the most about it once she was at ease, to make everybody else at ease, right? So that's what I was trying to do.
Okay.
But I understand how the next step in your mind was, she's targeting us, and Taylor's giving me a heads up, and I gotta talk to her and see what's going on. And I can see how Paloma was like, Taylor's got my name in her mouth, she's gonna go.
Yeah. And that's what it escalated to, right? And my thing was, it's just like, it almost made me confused, because then it made me think like, all right, like, well, what was Taylor's intentions in telling me this if it's something that's not true? You know what I mean? Like that's what I ultimately came down to, and I was like really frustrated by this, because I was like, I just didn't see any rhyme or reason behind it, you know? Like, and I think, you know, as things began to escalate and nobody kind of saw any rhyme or reason, so like it was just hard for me to find any other reason, and then I started looking at like, was this like
trying to stir up shit?
Yeah, for like, and then I'm like, but like why? Like I don't know, you know, like I didn't feel like there was any reason for it. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
So like I think like in this house, it's just so hard to like manage what you say and like perception versus what the intention was. You know, like if the intention was just to make like more peace in the house, then
Yes.
like then I see where you're coming from. But like I think like how I perceived it was like, whoa, like this is the first time we're talking game, and you know, you're mentioning Paloma, who I've talked to before, and I've never heard of this, you know, like it just.
And I'm just thinking like Paloma's the loudest and has the biggest swing in easing people, if possible. So I'm like, okay, like this guy has influence, and this girl's just like a little bit anxious. Let's get like one of the guys who's in that room to just ease her, and that'll ease everybody. And that just wasn't clear enough. And I'm sorry. I didn't want to stir up anxiety with you. It's too early. But, you know, I see how it got here. At least from our conversation, I see how.
And I'm sorry, like I just, you know, things happen very quickly, you know, so and honestly, I did not expect that once I told Paloma that, you know, it would turn into like a whole firecracker show in here, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is what happened," and I was just like, you know,
is it what happened?
Yeah, I think I went outside and came back, and I was like, everybody's like, "Oh, like, you know, this is weird, this is crazy," and I'm like, I told Paloma like 2 seconds ago, you know, so like it was a little bit frustrating to, you know, see how like quickly, you know, the word got out and all that sort of stuff about it, because I thought it would just be kept between us, but I think Paloma felt attacked by it.
Sure.
And in order to protect her game, you know, and like probably make Daniel's life easier, it made sense for her to say like, look, Taylor's somebody who's throwing my name in the and I probably would have had a conversation with, you know, Daniel directly about it too, and saying that like, yeah, somebody's targeting me, right? And I also felt like defensive, because I was like, well, I don't think Paloma did anything wrong here if I've had conversations with her and, you know, she has her name in somebody else's mouth, right? Like that's what it all came down to, you know? But like outside of that, like I didn't have any reason to want you out of the house or to have you nominated or whatever have you. And it also just didn't feel good, you know, because I never like being in this stuff, you know, but I just felt like, you know, I followed through with what you said, and I was just being honest. And like, the
I
perception
didn't make
behind
the
it.
end of that conversation clear to you, and you went off the natural assumption in this game, and I can't fault you for that.
Yeah. So, and I'm sorry that like it's led to this, you know, because like I think in my head I was like, all right, I think Taylor's going to be a strong competitor in this game, and of course, a woman of color who's strong, independent, and knows what the hell she's talking about, like is somebody that I think would be a great person to work with down the line.
I was trying to.
You were trying to
get your
start, yeah.
Let's put something at ease so that you don't have to worry about people thinking you're coming for them. Not yet, but I wasn't clear. That's all it was.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate you, you know, clarifying like what your intentions were, you know, and I think this is like, you know,
I get it. I talk intention versus impact all the time. I get
it. Yeah, 100%. And maybe, you know, maybe on my end, like I could have gotten a little bit more clear, like with, like, what are you telling me about? Like, what does this mean? Because I'm sometimes I'm a little bit more black and white, you know. It's like, are you telling me this for, you know, whatever reason, you know? And this is something I struggle with Paloma, because sometimes it's like, all right, just get to the point, you know. Like I just need to hear it straight, you know what I mean? So, you know, if I perceived what you were saying wrong, then I apologize for that as well too. I think this is just like all a lesson around like clarity, you know, like and trying to provide that as much as possible, because you know, stuff like this happens and then it's like it's like so quickly, you know, and then now like you got people thinking like, oh, like this is the type of player that she is, you know what I mean? So just from like the smallest thing, you know. So and I'm sorry that it had to come to this, you know what I mean? So but I appreciate you coming up to me and telling me like where your intentions were.
Absolutely.
And like, you know, sort of settling in.
I didn't talk game with many people. All I can do is think about the people that I did, and I'm like, okay, I know what I was trying to do.
Oh, yeah. Can you give me a second?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
We need you to grab the computer. I'm sorry. I was looking for you everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay.
Just the bowl.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah.
We're good. I do want to circle back a little bit later. If I were to say, let's say there's a million ways to play out. But if I were to come off the block, or if Terrence would come off the block, obviously I would appreciate your vote, but I'd also be interested in continuing to work together.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially after this, because ain't nobody gonna think we're working together.
Yeah. Well, that's, you bring up a very valid point, right? Because I think like, I don't, you know, I haven't really been doing much, and I've been really to myself about my intentions, you know. So I think, I think it's always like best to be discreet about what you're really doing and who you're really loyal to.
But now we have this, and I want to be very clear. If I were to say you are not target.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. And I think like if you were to stay, I'm very confident that you would win HOH next week. And I also wanted to like, you know, get that reassurance, because I wanted you to know that like I didn't do it with the intention of like
taking me down and out.
Yeah. Like I just felt like, all right, like
she's telling me to talk to her. Like I don't really understand why, but let's go see what's up.
Right.
Because who knows? I could have been talking to Paloma and she would have been like, "Here's the plan."
Right.
You don't know until you have that conversation. Right. But I get how it.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie. Like I did at some point, like start to believe like, was Taylor trying to get me involved in something? Right. Like I got like a little bit defensive because I didn't understand the situation.
You have to look at everything. Even when Daniel, for a hot second, I was like, is Daniel just trying to stir up something so I go crazy and think that something happened? But you know, I would rather get that criticism and investigate and apologize than think someone's just trying to make me lose my mind. So I'm not like it's bigger than that.
100%. Well, I appreciate us talking, and like I said, I think this week we don't know what's going to happen with the backstage, right? So I think that it may actually be an opportunity for you to like compete. Who knows, right? Like I don't know if there's going to be like a competition just between the three of them,
or the five of us,
or the five of you. Yeah. So it could very much be a reality that you're staying, and I think it could be very much a reality that you win HOH next week, because I know
what happened with Michael.
Yeah.
Give him good TV.
Yeah. Because that could be quite a turn of events, and but I also think that you know, like from a gameplay perspective, like I know you are a competitor and I know you're going to win competitions when you play in them. So like I have very much the confidence that that will happen. And I'm going to go for HOH next week too, you know, so like either way, I think it's going to be good for us to stay in contact, make sure that we're talking game and that like,
clearly.
Clearly, you know, like with intentions all laid out, like what does this mean, all that sort of stuff. And that way, like, you know, we can, you know, move discreetly, but at the same time, you know, and I think also the good thing is like when information comes to me or when information comes to you, right, bounce ideas off of each other's head. But now, like, I think just building that rapport, it'll be good to then, you know, reestablish the trust and know, like, all right, I'm coming from this place because this is where I see things going next week. You know what I mean? So.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, girl. Oh, wait.
You were going this way. We're going.
There we go.
There it is.
All right, cool. I'm going to go.
Dude, go home with that ball. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Do an upper reach.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Oh. Thing suction cup coming in.